Hey, what's up? I am Ara, aka I Zebra, and welcome back to the channel. So I just got back from seeing the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and I wanted to share my thoughts with you. I know it's been a while since I've been on camera, so hello. I just want to let you guys know this is going to be a spoiler-free review. I do plan on covering the spoilers down the line. However, for now, not what we're doing here. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell for when the spoiler-free review drops, as well as the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes videos I have planned for you all. So I just want to share my overall thoughts. I did enjoy the movie. I will say I did recently do a reread. So there were obviously changes that had to be made when you're adapting a novel into a film. And again, it is the longest Hunger Games movie that we do have at about 2.5 hours. I will say the pacing I thought was interesting for some parts. They do, similar to the novel, break it into 3 parts. I do feel like they did a good job for what they did have to condense. Obviously, things have to get shifted around a little bit. Not everybody can be in the movie character-wise, which I will say was a bit of a bummer because the character I really like wasn't in the movie. But again, I'll save that for my spoiler review. But I will say the production design was incredible. I had just rewatched Mockingjay Part 2 legit like the night before I went to go see this. So seeing the Capitol in that state, because we do spend a lot of time in the Capitol in Mockingjay Part 2. So seeing that in this movie, I found to be really nice, that you could see how this definitely takes place 60 years in the past. Also with the city itself, it's still in a reconstruction period due to the Civil War, and you can still see that reflected. I pointed out in my trailer breakdowns, you can see like some scaffolding and obvious rebuilding happening, and you can see where the Capitol we eventually see down the line, like where that's being built back up. Also with the sets, I loved them. I thought the Academy was personally one of my favorite sets to see. I really like the different aspects of the school that we were able to show, like the classroom. I thought was very, very cool, like the spiral design. I also liked a lot of like the architecture that was in there. Probably my favorite set, definitely by far, was the Academy. The arena itself looked great. It was better than I thought it would actually be. And we were able to see more parts of the arena, like different tunnels that they explored in the books. There's stuff with a little bit of spoilers, stuff with like some vents, which is really, really cool. I really like how they utilize this space. I will say in regards to the costumes, I loved them. Obviously, this is not the super over-the-top Effie trinket costumes that we would expect to see, because again, taking place 60 years in the past. I kind of going in knew that Tigress was going to have phenomenal costumes. As we know, she is a stylist, and well, at least down the line, she'll be a big prominent stylist for the games in the future. And her costumes were incredible. Same thing with Dr. Gall. You could see in the trailer breakdowns, I still love that lab coat. But yes, her costumes also great. I will say the biggest surprise to me when it came to costumes was actually the Grandmam, which I don't know why I didn't expect her to slay, but my God, did she come to slay. Cleared like chef's kiss. She has this like diamondy like headdress thing. It kind of reminded me of like what Rihanna wore, the headdress part, not the whole dress, but what Rihanna wore when she received the CFDA icon with the like Swarovski crystals with the like head net, yeah, something like that. I don't have a picture of it just yet because obviously I'm not taking a picture of the movie because that's illegal. But yeah, Grandman's costumes, some of the best in the movie. Honestly, probably my favorite costumes. Again, I just only watched it once, so I might be jumping the gun, but I think the Grandmam had the best costumes. Also, the other, like the district's costumes, if you've seen the trailers, it kind of is obvious at this point that the tributes wear the same costumes that they were reaped in throughout the games. And I did like seeing kind of a more retro look, but the clothes that the tributes are wearing, it's very evident that they're not of the same quality of, let's say, the Academy students' clothing. Like, you can see the disparities. I will say, however, Lucy Gray's rainbow dress was beautiful. Similar to the books, it is her mother's dress, which would have been something that was made before the war. And you can tell, like, it looks worn, but it looks like it's still of a good quality. Which, obviously, pre-Civil War, Pan Am, times were way different in regards to, like, everything. But overall, I enjoyed the costumes, the overall look of the film. I really, really liked the music. Rachel Zegler is so incredibly talented. Her voice is just so rich. All of the songs, they're literally songs straight from the book, so you'll recognize a lot of them if you've read them. If you haven't read the books, you'll probably recognize at least The Hanging Tree, and her rendition of it is so soulful. And in my opinion, I know this is going to sound like a really hot take here, I like her version better than Jennifer Lawrence's, but at the same time, it's also kind of also unfair because Rachel Zegler is a talented vocalist, like a very talented vocalist, hence why she's got this role. But yes, all of the music I found to be incredibly well done. The way they adapted it, it sounded great. The Covey as a whole was good. You could there is a scene where Maude Ivory does do a little bit of singing, and I believe the actress Vaughn Riley that was casted in that role, she did a great job for that little bit. And I will say, for overall just performances in general, my favorite performance was definitely Rachel Zegler as Lucy Gray Baird. I think she brought so much life to the character. Like, she was exactly how I envisioned Lucy Gray to be. I think her singing was amazing, her acting, her emotions, just the way she was able to portray certain parts from the book that I will say I was a bit nervous about how they were going to do them towards, like, the end of the movie. Again, trying to avoid spoilers here, but there's this one scene in particular at, again, the end of the movie in the cabin. As much as I'll give you, she nailed it. Like, nailed it. Tom Blythe as Coriolanus Snow was wonderful. I really enjoyed his performance as well. He was able to really capture a young Corio. You could tell he had some nods to Donald Sutherland's performance, but not too much, which I did like because, again, it is the same character, but it's 60 years apart, and so much happens within 60 years. Like, a lot can happen within 60 years. And you can see the little seeds of that future character. You see more of those seeds actually in the way Viola Davis portrays Dr. Gall. I would say that is actually a very similar performance to Donald Sutherland, which is very intentional as she is kind of the mentor that makes Snow the Snow we know later on, President Snow. Her performance, I mean, she's an EGOT winner. I mean, what more is there to say? Like, I knew going into this she was going to be incredible, and absolutely incredible. Like, she captured, like, some of the eccentricities that Dr. Gall has. All right, this is a little bit of a spoiler, and I know I said I wasn't going to do any, but I will say I was a little sad that there wasn't a single hippity-hoppity line. Like, she didn't say it hippity-hoppity at all, but, like, very, very minor complaint, which in the grand scheme of things, not that important. I just really like that part in the books. Other than that, I think everybody, Peter Dinklage obviously was going to be great. Jason Schwartzman as Lucky Flickerman. Amazing comedic timing. Also, I mean, what do we expect? Some of these, like, actors that are more well-known coming into their roles. Hunter Schafer as Tigress. Same thing. Great job. I was very familiar with their work. I wasn't as familiar with Josh Andres Rivera. I'll be honest, I haven't seen West Side Story. And I know he and Rachel were both in that movie. But his performance as Sejanus was so well done. I like the way he conveyed a lot of Sejanus's righteousness from the books and some of his conflict. And overall, when it came to the other mentors, We didn't get as much time with ones that I would have assumed just based off of, the role they play in the book that we would have got. But in regards to the tributes, I will say I really, really enjoyed Coral. The actress Mackenzie Lansing that plays Coral was so good. She kind of reminds me of like, not a Kato, but kind of like the Kato of the movie. And a bit of a bad guy, but you know me, I like bad guys. So really, really liked her performance. I wasn't going in I didn't know what to expect when it came to the tributes. I'll be 1,000% honest. But wow, really, really enjoyed her character. She was great. I also liked Wovie. Wovie was Sophia Sanchez. Like, my little heart. I loved her. She just seemed so sweet. And again, loved her. I will say, as much as there are things that I do like about the movie, there are some things I do dislike. Not much that I dislike, but I will say, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to say like, this is the best movie I've ever seen in my life. It's good. It's a great adaptation. I will say some of the changes they made, I think maybe on a rewatch, I might appreciate them a little bit more than my initial viewing of it. There were changes that I found that were made that were great changes. Like, I believe that was a good route to take, especially, again, we're not getting his Koryo's inner thoughts. So you do have to make some adjustments. But one thing I kind of disliked that they did with Koryo's character in particular, I kind of like to call it like the Hermione effect. So if you ever read the Harry Potter books, and then went and watched the Harry Potter movies, you would notice a lot of things other characters do. They give that stuff to Hermione to make Hermione look like either smarter or better or more morally right. Like, you can tell the writers really like favored Hermione. So like stuff Ron would do, they would give to Hermione, even though that's not what happened in the books. So in this movie, they do that a lot with Koryo. I will say there's like stuff that other characters do, especially other mentors, that they give to Koryo, which, in my opinion, I think for like a casual viewer, it's not going to be that big of a deal. And it kind of helps to show like how smart he is. But at the same time, I feel like it does take away from the mentors. Like, I was expecting more from the mentors, or at least more scenes with them, a little bit more dialogue compared to what we get in the books. Obviously, I had a feeling they had to condense the games down because obviously they're drawn out way longer than they are in the movie. But at the same time, I really do wish they did a little bit better with the mentors, or at least a handful of them that played a bigger role. I think that would also have helped Koryo's character also look a lot better if they kind of had more to kind of bounce off each other rather than him just seeing like the only person that knows what they're doing in the school. Another thing regarding characters, I really like Clemencia in the books a lot. And by the trailer footage, there's a lot of Clemencia in there. There's promo with Clemencia. I was expecting more of Clemencia's character. I'm not going to get too much more into that because now we're going to be diving real deep into the spoiler area of things. I'm just going to say, if you're one of those people that really likes where her character goes in the book, you may be a little bit disappointed in the movie and how they treat her arc. Just, again, she's more of a minor character. She's not a big character. And for a casual fan, it's probably not going to bother you. Like I said, I'm a book reader. I read the book multiple times, literally just finished a reread, so it's very fresh on my mind. I do plan on doing a video down the line going over some of the adaptation choices that are different from the books. So, be on the lookout for that. Overall, I really did enjoy the movie. Again, some of the complaints that I do have are more so around just like some adaptation choices. Again, if you've never read the book, probably not going to bother you. If you've read the book, depending on what characters you like, it may bother you a little bit because they did have to condense a lot of like character stories down, which obviously it's one film. There's only but so much you can fit into it. But With that being said, just wanted to again share my initial thoughts on the movie. I do believe you guys should definitely go out and see it. I think it's a great watch. There's a lot of action in there. There's some romance, amazing music. Like the music is probably one of my favorite parts of the movie. Like absolutely, but the music by far. I think all the actors did a great job. The movie looks good. It feels like you're in Panem, like you feel like this is a Hunger Games movie. Where it's a prequel, I know sometimes that can get a little bit shaky, especially with this is like a 60-year gap in between the Hunger Games series versus the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. But I think if you do enjoy those movies, overall you will enjoy this. How it compares to the other Hunger Games movies, I would say it's up there, at least from my initial first viewing. I think maybe when I go see it a couple more times, my rankings, if you will change. I'm going to throw this out there now. Catching Fire is my favorite movie. I do not believe this is as good as Catching Fire, but I would say it's definitely my number 2 probably. I know that's very high, maybe recency bias, whatever. I really, really like this movie. I hope you guys all get a chance to go see it and support this cast and the crew. They all worked really hard on the movie. Let me know how you feel about it in the comments below. Again, I'm going to do a spoiler review down the line. That may actually be a spoiler live stream. And if that's something you're interested, again, let me know. You can always reach out to me on Twitter or any other platform, IZebra and everything, because I'm really not that creative and it just makes it easier for everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for future uploads. Like I said, I have way more The Ballad of Songbirds and Snake coverage coming your way. So make sure that notification bell is definitely on. I'll see you next time. Bye.